Good morning and welcome to Ports and Palaces podcast. It is August 26th and it's spooky season at Walt Disney World.
Good morning, everyone. The first party of the season kicked off on August 7th and continues through Halloween. We're going to cover absolutely everything you need to know: tickets, costumes, characters, trick-or-treating, food, entertainment, attractions, merchandise, the best way to plan your night, and what's new for 2026.
And perhaps most importantly, whether this party is actually worth spending the time and money on.
Because this is not a cheap night out.
No, it is not.
So if you're considering buying a ticket, stick around, because by the end of this episode, we're going to give you our ideal 5-hour strategy. Or I guess it would actually be an 8-hour strategy with early entry, and our final verdict on whether we think you should go.
And here's the biggest thing that we want you to take into account for this episode. You cannot do everything. I repeat, you cannot do everything at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, unfortunately. There are way too many characters to see, way too much entertainment to see, too many food options, in my opinion. All very good, but too many options, and only 5 hours to do what all you decide to do.
Yep.
So today, we're not just going to tell you what's available, we're going to also help you decide how to prioritize and what to prioritize.
Yeah. So we've broken it down in 10 sections. I like to, when I'm prepping our podcast, go into sections. So we're going to do 10 sections. And as we're going through each section, we're going to tell you what we would prioritize and what we'd put in the maybe pile, or if we have time, and what we might just skip altogether. Ready, Chad?
Ready.
All righty, let's start with segment 1. What exactly is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party?
So let's start with the basics. If you've never been to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, what exactly are you buying? Is it an experience? Is it a chance to ride rides while other people are going to watch shows and events?
Well, I think the first thing to understand is that it's an own ticket. So the Halloween party is not part of a regular ticket. It is its own ticket. You don't just kind of use your regular ticket and just stay longer. It's its own ticket. You have to pay for your own ticket. I want to say that because we actually go into a strategy later that involves a regular part ticket as well, but you have to have both for the strategy I'm talking about. For 2026, the party does run on select nights from August 7th through October 31st, which is a very long time, and the party runs from 7 until midnight.
But there's one very important tip. Party guests can enter Magic Kingdom as early as 4 p.m.
Which is huge in timing-wise.
I agree absolutely, because those 3 hours before the official party start can make a huge difference if you plan accordingly.
Yeah. Now, some things to keep in mind when you're thinking about going to the party with just a party ticket. You really want to get in line early. So if you're really wanting to be in the line, at the front of the line when they let you in at 4 o'clock, you want to be in line about 2:30. I mean, you want to be in there early. Lightning lanes do not apply to anything that starts or is before the party. So you cannot purchase lightning lanes with your party ticket, as far as I know from our experience, because the lightning lanes don't actually operate during the party, so those don't apply to party tickets. And then dining reservations. There are things we're going to be talking about for dining reservations during the party, and you might be able to get a dining reservation during that 4 o'clock window when you're there. But we're going to kind of talk about if those are important to you. Likewise, if you are going to Magic Kingdom on a party day, but you don't have a party ticket, let's say you do a dining reservation for 5 o'clock when you're supposed to be out of the park by 6, they will escort you out of the park. You cannot just hide your way into the party. You have to they escort you out. So just a thought, I've seen that quite a bit on Facebook of, can we just hide and get in the party, which makes me kind of sad. But
Don't hide in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Just they'll find you. Just don't. But so those are the logistics of what exactly the party is.
And on to the second segment, the entertainment. So let's get into what, for me, is the heart of the party, the entertainment. This is where Mickey's Not So Scary earns its money by far.
Yes, this is definitely the prioritize section. When we start thinking about what you want to prioritize, this section was really hard for me to say skip something because this is really the like exclusive things you don't want to miss. So first you've got Mickey's Boo to You Halloween Parade. There are 2 parades each night of the party, weather permitting, 8:15 and 11:15 p.m. Each parade starts in Frontierland and ends in the Main Street like railroad station. And then for time saving, we actually recommend doing the parade in Frontierland because the parade will be over there first. It will end over there first, and then you can actually do some things over in that area after the party or after the parade has moved on to other parts of the park. I personally recommend staying in front of Pecos Bill or the walkway between Frontier and Adventureland to make sure that if you need to get to Adventureland after the parade, you're literally just go through the little tunnel and you're there.
One really big tip to keep in mind is to make sure you get situated about 30 to 45 minutes before a event or showtime. Specifically, the Headless Horseman rides before the parade time.
Yeah. So if you're looking at the 8:15 parade, he's probably going to walk somewhere between 8 and 8:10. So just know that he's not like the start of the parade and the fact that like he's going to start before parade time. Then there's the Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular, which are the themed fireworks during the show. These are only offered once at 10 p.m. at Cinderella Castle. So again, something you want to prioritize because there is no extra time. You can also see the projections down Main Street, but you really want to be in front of the castle. Again, you want to be there about 30 to 45 minutes to get a good spot. And because there's only one fireworks show each night, expect the heaviest crowds of the night right here.
And then there's, of course, Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, which is basically mandatory for a lot of families.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really fun show. And then because it's a show, you kind of want to be a little closer. But it is a cute show and it brings in a lot of villains. I know villains are a big thing, especially at Halloween. So especially if you're a Hocus Pocus fan, because they are the center of the show. They start the whole show and actually are why the show is going. There are 3 showings of the show in August and September, and then there's an extra showing that's added in October. Again, that's weather permitting and things like that, so definitely keep an eye on your app in the map, but that is currently what they're saying is going to happen. And this is on the stage in front of Cinderella Castle.
If you want to be close to that, go to a later showing when crowds have tapered off a little bit, I assume.
Yeah.
Most families with kids will leave right after the fireworks.
Mm-hmm. So better viewing for sure. And then there's some smaller entertainment throughout the park. So you've got dance parties, atmospheric entertainment, and the cadaver dans, which are really fun.
Yes, the cadaver dans. They're really cool. They're over in Frontierland, and they're a great walk-by show experience. Basically, it's a barbershop quartet.
Yeah.
It's a good time for any new or returning guests.
Mm-hmm.
Over in Tomorrowland, there's a new stage dance party with Stitch and Angel. If you don't know, Angel is one of the, in quotations, cousins in the Lilo and Stitch show that they capture.
She was the girlfriend.
Well, kind of.
They put them together for Valentine's Day.
Okay, but she leads him on the entire show until the very end.
See, I've never seen it, so.
Stitch and Angel will be masquerading and dancing around in different costumes. So in this show, Lilo has a costume trunk that both Stitch and Angel come out in different costumes throughout the show. It's really cute, but not at all a meet and greet.
Mm-hmm.
They can't sign either if you're trying to do autograph books. If you want an authentic interaction with Stitch, Angel, and Lilo, definitely check it out. If you are wanting posed photos, though, this is not the place.
No. Yeah, this is not the place to get it, which is kind of sad because everyone loves to see Angel and she's not around much. But yeah, definitely not a posed environment. Don't get your autograph books out here. So, also over in Tomorrowland, there is the Descendants Party inside Cosmic Rays. It is themed to Descendants Rise of Red. I understand that Descendants is really popular, but I just miss the Disney Junior Jam that's usually in there. I just feel like we've taken away a lot of the things for like the littles. But again, I guess I can understand that there may not be that many littles at this party. So,
New this year is Captain Jack's Buccaneer Blast over in Adventureland. There are actually 3 shows happening serially to create this kind of chaos simulation that Captain Jack brings to the movies. First is a DJ dance party with Captain Barbossa. If you don't know, he's the main antagonist in the first movie, and then he kind of helps Jack the rest of the movies.
yes, he was a wonderful addition. I did not know who he was because I still have yet to watch these movies. But when Chad saw him, he was like, "Oh, oh." So, yeah, I guess that's important. I just kind of glossed over it, but
Well, anyways, Jack comes out for a second part of the show and has the kids do pirate training. Again, this is a great authentic character interaction. Let me rephrase. It's not a meet and greet though. Again, it's not a meet and greet. You can take photos, but it's not going to be like posed photos or anything like that.
yeah, they're going to be action shots. But I did want to say, so Jack is actually the third show. So the second show is like a stunt show with 2 other pirates. So just know you see Barbossa and then a stunt show and then Jack. So just for there. And then lastly, there's some like show elements over in Storybook Circus, but it's basically just another DJ and dancing over there. And it's mostly full of characters and trick or treat trails. So we're going to skip it for now because those get their own section here in a minute. So let's go over the list here for prioritize, maybe, and skip. I definitely think I would prioritize the fireworks, the stage show, and the parade. Those are like the big ones that I think if you left, you would really regret it that you didn't see those. The fun to do would probably be the Descend Dance, the Masquerade, and the Cadaver Dance and the Buccaneer Blast.
Now, when you say masquerade, you mean the Stitch angel
Stitch thingy, the Masquerade dance thingy. Again, all of those are fun to do if you're happening to walk by or through. But I don't know if I would like stake out a bunch of time or like go out of my way to get to these places if you're doing other things.
Yeah.
And then because it's mostly just characters and treat trails, I would skip the entertainment and Storybook Circus. Yeah, definitely. This is where the planning gets serious. I know a lot of characters are like the thing at these parties. So this is where, you're really going to want to prioritize. This is also where you're going to find the bulk of people and why a lot of people go to these parties. So just prepare yourself that most of the lines that you're going to find are right here with the characters.
The Halloween party itself is very famous for character opportunities. They're dressed specifically for Halloween, and you can expect those lines to get super long.
Yeah. Here's our advice. Before your party night, sit down with your travel party and make a list. Make your must-meet characters, your I'd love to meet them characters, and you know what? If the line is short, I'll hop in to meet those characters.
Because in reality, you don't want to spend 2 hours waiting for one character and then realize you've missed an entertainment experience or several opportunities that you really wanted to see.
Yeah. So let's go through the characters for this year. First up, right when you first get in the park, there is Town Square Theater, and that has Mickey and Minnie in their little Halloween attire. And then Jack and Sally are typically together in that same theater, but a different theater. Sometimes Sally does step away, so I just want to make sure that's mentioned because I don't want you to stand in line and then it's just Jack and like your whole life is ruined. If you want to meet these 4 characters, I really recommend doing them right when you get into the park before the party starts. They both start meeting right at that 4 o'clock time. And so that's going to be probably the shortest lines as long as you're in the park. And I mean like the front of the line. If you're middle of the line, you're already looking at a 2-hour wait. So beginning of the line is that. I have seen that this pops down a little bit in like the second parade time. But for the most part, your best bet is to be at the very beginning of the line when they first open at 4 p.m.
Or maybe if it's in your budget, get a Magic Kingdom Day ticket for this day as well and start that line before the party guests get in.
Yep.
So over in Adventureland, you'll have Aladdin and Apu and Genie and Jasmine. They are not wearing anything Halloween related, but these are characters that are rare and you don't often see in the regular park. Also in Adventureland are Maribel and Bruno. Maribel can be found during the regular day, typically, but Bruno is specific to the Mickey's Not So Scary Party.
Yep.
I will say that typically Aladdin Abu and Genie and Jasmine are on a rotation.
They are, yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to time which duo that you're going to be meeting. We've fought with that before. Basically, try to time it where you have, I'd say 20-minute increments, something like that.
Yeah, if I remember when we did this for Very Merry, it all in all probably took us about 45 minutes to see all 4 characters, because they do about 25 to 35-minute rotations. So yeah, it definitely is going to be a chunk of time if you're trying to get like when they rotate the whole set of them. Also close by over in Frontierland are Chip and Dale. They are wearing skeleton shirts, which are really cute. I don't know if I call them shirts. They're like capes, maybe. They're loose fitting.
Cloaks.
Sure, cloaks. And then over in Fantasyland, you'll find Lady Tremaine and her stepsis and the stepsisters, not her stepsisters, which are regular day characters. So just a note there. And you can also find Ariel and Prince Eric. Eric is super exclusive. He only really shows up for parties, and Ariel is in her human dress. Now, during park hours, you can find her as a mermaid in her grotto, but she is becoming harder and harder to find in her princess dress. She used to be in Royal Hall, but her appearances are becoming less and less. So if you have a princess fan, I definitely would prioritize this one. Unfortunately, when I say Fantasyland, they're up in like New Fantasyland, and they're kind of far away from everything else. So if you're wanting to see them, just know that you're committing to at least an hour of your time to get up there and back. So
if you're looking for some staple characters, you can find Daisy, Donald, and Pluto in Halloween attire over at the Storybook Circus. So you also find on the edge of Fantasyland in front of the teacups are Alice and the Mad Hatter, as well as Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured out their rotation yet. I've actually mentioned several times I don't know why they don't do Queen of Hearts here, as she is a villain. But then I've seen some reports that people saw her on the 7th. So she might be there. She might be part of the rotation. But from my understanding, it's just Alice and the Mad Hatter or Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So maybe she replaced Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Also by the Winnie the Pooh ride over there in that kind of corner is Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, and Eeyore in their Halloween costumes. This one is a big crowd draw because not only are they just so cute in general, but then you put little costumes on them and they're just stinking adorable. People also will wait till all 4 of them are together. So just know that they might not all be together. And so you might be waiting in a long line for that rare time when they're all together. If this is a priority for you, and just know it's a priority for a lot of people, again, this is something that I would try to knock out before the party starts. They don't actually typically start meeting until party starts at 7. I have seen them start at like 6 or 6:30, but people will queue up as soon as they get in the park. And then lastly, over in Fantasyland is Gaston. He sometimes shows up at his tavern to show people how strong he is.
As a side note, the characters that we mentioned, you can meet or queue for them before the party starts. You do have to prove you're a party guest, though, with a ticket. Now, you can have a physical ticket or in the app, right?
I don't know about a physical ticket, but there's usually either that you can show it on your phone, or when you check in, you get a wristband and you can just show them your wristband.
Got it. So, as a list of key things to keep in mind here, prioritize characters with long lines That's Mickey and Minnie, Jack and Sally, Winnie the Pooh characters as well. Fun to do exclusives, Jasmine and Genie, Mad Hatter, Tweedledee and Dum, Gaston, Bruno, Prince Eric. Potential skips are, well, they're just Halloween exclusives, but Chip and Dale, Pluto and Goofy, and Donald and Daisy.
Yeah, I hated to put them on there because I mean they're your staples, but uh, they're just wearing their Halloween stuff. Um, and I even thought about putting Mickey and Minnie in that same list too, since you can see them other places. But it feels wrong going to Mickey's party and not saying hello. So, and as you can see, just in this one section, this is why we keep saying you cannot do everything at this party. If you're a character person, characters alone can consume the majority of the evening. And then when I say a majority, I mean 7/8 of the evening could be just characters. So definitely have a plan if you're a character person. Now let's get into the heart of Halloween, trick or treating. So yes, you can trick or treat at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and you should. You are given a small bag to hold candy when you enter, but if you're really wanting to like cash in on the candy, I would definitely bring another bag with you. Those bags are not super big. There are not really themed lines like at Oogie Boogie Bash. So if you're a Disneyland person that's coming to Disney World for this, just know they're they're not going to have that massive theming like Disneyland does. But they are trying to pull some of that, what I call line-tainment in. Most note is the Evil Queen and Maleficent are in the Royal Hall trick-or-treat line. Over in Diamond Horseshoe and Frontierland, you're going to find the Hitchhiking Ghosts, and they're in that treat trail. And then another treat trail that you're going to want to prioritize is inside Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. So this used to be an actual sit-down show, but it was like Halloween themed. So pretty much the same show as the other one, but just some Halloween aspects. But now it's a walkthrough as a treat trail, and it's just kind of themed for that Halloween silly, spooky vibe. Nice to walk through, but not necessary to be in there for long. So I like that they switched that to be more of just like a treat trail that you just walk through. There are a ton of generic treat trails that rarely have long lines. You can just walk up to a regular one as you see them. You do get a map when you first enter. So if you wanted to kind of see, hey, what's some candy lines around me? Here we'll go. Some lines do have different candy. So like this one may have Snickers and none other line has Snickers. But that changes very often. So I wouldn't bank on anybody telling you that Snickers peanut butter is only in this Fantasyland one. And then some just trick or treat questions that get asked a lot. Can adults trick or treat? Absolutely. And then what about food allergies or dietary restrictions? They do have special treats for you. You used to have to ask when you got to the candy station, but now I have found that they actually mark those as specific lines in the map. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
So let's pause for a minute and talk about the heart of Halloween, the costumes. Everyone can dress up, and many people do, of course. Go all out with a family matching theme. We've done that before. We've done Monsters Inc. before.
Mm-hmm.
Just be mindful that you are in a hot and humid Florida environment.
Yeah.
Don't come in a big furry suit.
Yeah. You don't want to end the night in the ER.
Right.
That would not be a good ending to your night.
Good old heat stroke to start your vacation. There are also some guidelines you need to follow. First, you can't dress up like a cast member. That's a big no-no.
Yes. But they did change their costumes this year, so you can dress up like the old cast member dress. So, just a thought there.
Still, don't do it. People are going to think you're loitering and might think you're an actual cast member and start asking you for... keep it family friendly. Nothing violent, no serial killer costumes, no obscene language or, graphic images on them, or materials for that matter. No ground dragging, so like no chains,
Yeah, this one,
across the ground. No big like dress tail
yeah,
running across the ground either.
I would say that's the big one is like the princess dresses. Like,
That's a hazard not only to them but also the people around them
yeah,
too. It's gonna
and
be
yourself
dark.
if someone steps on your dress.
Yeah. No capes. This one's kind of on the fence. It's allowed only if they do not go below the waist.
All I could think of when you said that was Edna mode. Yipes.
Yeah, being pulled into a turbine. Thankfully, there's no turbines to worry about at this event. Masks can also not be worn. They cannot be worn by anyone 13 and older at any time. Only kids can wear masks at this event that do not cover their entire face.
Yeah, and their eyes must be visible at all times. So you can't put like one of those plastic masks that kind of has the string at the back. They do have to, their eyes have to be visible,
No real weapons either. I know.
which goes without saying, I would hope.
Sure. Toy swords or plastic lightsabers are perfectly fine, but nothing that resembles or is a real weapon, whether it's sharpened or not. This is not a Ren Fair where you can zip tie a cutlass to your hip and be perfectly fine.
Yep.
No sharp objects. I think I already covered that, but no pointed or sharp props that could strike another guests.
Yep. And then this one is more just a me thing, but maybe don't come in universal characters. Like a big family that's dressed like minions. That's the wrong park. So
Innocently, I have goofed up on the sharp objects thing before. I had my pocket knife in my pocket, not realizing I couldn't have that, so I had to put it in a box.
So that's it for the essence of Halloween. Here, prioritize those 3 themed treat trails and really skip probably the rest, to be quite honest. There's so much else to do. Alrighty, let's get into another big party event, but one that you can kind of work around as needed based on whatever else you're looking at. So of course, we are talking about all the food that is exclusive to the party. Now, there is a ton. You can research on Disney Park blogs and find the entire list of them. So we're just going to go through the ones that we feel like are worth your time. Again, this whole podcast is all about prioritizing what is a priority. Now, some of the things we're going to say are actually available to you before before party begins. So if you're here during that 4:00 time, this would be a great time to grab some of these. The first thing is at Main Street Bakery, there is a Mickey-shaped cheesecake, which is a pumpkin cheesecake with graham cracker crust and white chocolate whipped ganache. This is party exclusive. So you definitely want to get that either like when you're kind of there for fireworks or when you're leaving for the night. But that is a party exclusive. The next thing is not party exclusive, so you could go grab it before party begins. And that is Plaza Ice Cream Parlor, the Pumpkin Sundae, which is pumpkin gelato with pumpkin spiced caramel sauce, pumpkin brittle, and Halloween sprinkles. And then another dessert that's really good, I believe this is also available during park hours at Columbia Harbor House, is the S'mores Cup. It's layers of graham cracker pieces, chocolate ganache, popping chocolate candies, milk chocolate panna cotta, and marshmallow cream. I am a sucker for panna cotta. I love a good panna cotta.
That's good. That's happy for you.
Thank you so much. It reminds me, so diverting just a little, we'll circle back. Every time we go on a Disney cruise, we have to go to Palo Brunch. And every time we go, I always just want the panna cotta with the boba as my dessert. And Chad just looks at me like, that's disgusting. But it's delicious, and that's my favorite. That and risotto. So good. Moving on. Cosmic Rays has some pretty good things this year. A new for them is Fantastic Garlic Butter Burger. It's an Angus beef burger with boursin, cheese, and brie fondue, crispy onions, and a garlic pickle on a toasted black bun served with French fries. The only thing is, why the black bun? Like, why? I don't need a black bun, but whatever. Returning is the sweet and spicy chicken strips with Korean barbecue sauce, topped with black sesame seeds, crispy garlic, and green onions served with French fries. It was delicious last year. And then you have the Oogie Boogie Slushy, a frozen apple cider topped with cinnamon whipped cream and a sour gummy candy. This is non-alcoholic. During regular park hours, you can go to Cheshire Cafe and get the Queen of Hearts tart. It has a sour cherry pie filling, which looks very cute and Instagrammable. And then the last thing that I would probably prioritize is over at Pecos Bill, Tall Tale Inn. They have these new cursed cowboy fries, which are sweet potato fries topped with barbecue burnt ends, chipotle queso, pico de gallo, and crispy jalapenos. It sounds delicious. And then new this year as well is the Skolicious cake. Chocolate mousse, and peanut butter buttercream with chocolate popping candies and a chocolate cookie crust. I'm a sucker for peanut butter anything, so that sounds delicious. You've also got the pumpkin patch mini churros rolled in orange sugar and served with a pumpkin cheesecake dip. I would be asking for extra dip for sure. And then they have a guava lemonade slushie with cheesecake foam, Halloween sprinkles, and a sugar spider. So that's what I would prioritize for food. I think I got a good mix there. You've got some like hearty food and then some nice sweets.
Yeah. Over at Casey's Corner, I would honestly recommend the Chipotle barbecue pork and street corn hot dog. That is a lot of stuff on top of a hot dog, but it is delicious. If you're feeling something sweet, I would recommend at that same place the Headless Horseman treat. It is a pumpkin pie tart topped with cheesecake, spiced caramel panna cotta.
Oh, panna cotta.
Aha. Candied pecans. I love candied pecans. And marshmallow buttercream.
I would not recommend a hot dog, but you do you.
Why not?
Hot dogs are disgusting.
Hot dogs are great, especially if they're all beef. Thank you.
Blech.
And everything else on my list, Kirsten already talked about, so we'll move on.
Yeah, I had a good list. Now let's talk about reservations. We specifically skipped Be Our Guest, Plaza Inn, and then Cinderella's Royal Table. These are open during the event and do have some Halloween exclusive food. They also do have some like if you got in at 4, you could get a reservation before party starts. Our advice is to skip these. They do have some great food, but the party has so much to do that you try to cram in a 90 to 120 minutes in a restaurant and you're already feeling overwhelmed. So there's just so many other good quick service spots with Halloween exclusive food that I just don't feel like priority wise sitting down for a restaurant meal is a good idea. Now, if you've gone to Not So Scary Halloween Party for years, and then that's a different story. But we're kind of talking about people who, have gone only a couple times or things like that. I just don't see them wasting that much time at a restaurant.
Try to get it done and, go sit down to eat if you want to at 4:30. And then, that beats the dinner rush and you can go on to other things within the park during the event.
Yeah, especially if maybe like those characters that you need to line up early for aren't a priority for you, then yeah, maybe do it during that time. Now, there is a dessert party for the fireworks show, and I might actually be inclined to sign up for this, but I'm thinking more in terms of like time saving, not so much the desserts themselves. The desserts are Halloween kind of themed, but for time saving. So you can actually check in 105. You can actually check in an hour and a half before the fireworks. So that would be about 8:30. That means you could see the fireworks at 10, but also the stage show at 9 and maybe even the parade at 8:15. So this viewing for the fireworks, the dessert party does give you reserved viewing for the fireworks, and that is in the main hub. So if you'll remember, we said that the parade starts at 8:15 in Frontierland. So that means it's probably not even to Main Street area until about 8:45. So if you checked in right at 8:30 and got your space, you might be there for the parade. So this might actually be a really good time saver because we mentioned you have to line up 30 to 45 minutes early for the parade, for the fireworks, for the stage show. So you're already looking at having to reserve time to do that. But this is the reserved viewing area. So, might be an option to have a nice spot and not have to wait a long time for it.
Yeah, I really wouldn't stay for the dessert party though. In my opinion, bring a to-go container plop your desserts inside and be on your way. There's plenty of other things to do.
Yeah.
The desserts are Halloween themed, and all the sweet treats are very rich.
Yeah, they are. They do offer alcohol at the dessert party. That obviously I don't think you can walk around with that. But everything else you should be able to be like, I made my plate, I ate it real quick, and now I'm on my way. So definitely a good thought.
Definitely prioritize exclusive quick service.
And to even add more time back to yourself, mobile order these things. If you know you're going to be in certain areas at certain times, just mobile order those treats. It saves you even more time in the long run.
Paid for it, and you could make it. Go to the dessert party. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Skip the dining reservations, if at all possible. But, if you want to sit down, by all means,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Just priority-wise, maybe skip those.
In our next segment, we're going to talk about attractions. Now, let's chat for a little bit. Most attractions will actually be open during the party, but unless you're specifically coming to Mickey's Not So Scary to ride the attractions, I would make them a priority. Why? Because you can ride most of these attractions during the regular park hours. The party itself has plenty of exclusive entertainment, characters, experiences, etc., that you can't do on regular park days.
Yeah, agreed. I do know there's some people that truly they're like, I want to pay that extra money to go to the party because I know that most people aren't going to be riding rides. And so they do go with the intent of, I just want to ride rides, almost like it's an after hours event. But yeah, I agree. If that's not your intent, then I wouldn't spend a lot of time with rides.
Yeah. There are attractions that are Halloweenified, such as Space Mountain, where the lights don't change really from what I understand.
It's supposed to be pitch black, but they do still have some lights. I don't think they can make it truly pitch black.
But they play spooky music, whatever that means.
You also have the Mad Tea Party, but this is just special lighting and some music. So I don't even know if I'd really call it a special Halloweenified ride. So this section is pretty short and sweet because we kind of made our point pretty clear. Prioritize Space Mountain because that is something that you can't really see all the time. Something that might be fun if you have time would be the Mad Tea Party, and then I might say Tron and Mine Train, so you didn't have to pay for a single pass, a lightning lane single pass on another day. But I would skip probably everything else. Alrighty, let's go to the section that we're not going to spend a whole lot of time in because there are people that go through every piece of merchandise and it annoys the living daylights out of me. But you can't go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and not grab a souvenir. So let's talk about where to buy those things. So you're going to go to the Emporium and the Star Trader, the Star Traders over in Tomorrowland. So those are your best bet for Halloween items. Emporium is going to have your generic Halloween items. So think all the things that you've been seeing on, Shop Disney, things like that. Star Traders is where you're going to go for your party exclusive items. When you go there, you're going to either need your wristband or the ticket. So again, that ticket on your phone to show that you're a party guest to get these items. They will be out and available for people that are not a party guest to look at, but to buy them, you do have to show you're a party guest. You also, like I said, can find some of these items on the Shop Disney website. So if you're wanting to save some luggage space, you might just buy some of it before or buy some of it and not bring it, or however you want to do that. Prioritize it all because you have to.
It's very helpful. Just prioritize all.
All of it.
As our next segment, let's go through what each of our perfect Mickey's Not So Scary itinerary would be.
And then for probably my purposes more than Chad's, there are no budget restraints in our perfect itinerary. So I am actually going to start my day with a regular park ticket. I don't like the idea of having to start my party waiting in an 1.5 to 2 hour long line. So I'm just going to go ahead and get a regular park ticket in addition to my Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party ticket. I'm going to stroll into the park about 2:30. From 2:30 to 3:30, I'm going to shop at the Emporium and grab some non-party exclusive snacks. Particularly, I'm thinking about the pumpkin sundae from Plaza. For about an hour, 3:30 to 4:30, I'm going to get in line and meet Jack and Sally and Mickey and Minnie over in Town Square. I hope to be done with them about 4:30 because I got in that line super early. And by that point, I'm going to walk down that other side adjacent to Main Street where they're doing their welcomes. I'm getting my wristband, my bags, all those things. I guess I would have had to got my wristband before to get in line, but moving on. About 5 o'clock, I'm going to go get in line for the Winnie the Pooh characters. Now, remember, they don't actually start meeting until around 7 o'clock. So that is a long time to be in line, but to me, that is worth it because it's pre-party time. But during that time, we are going to take turns and go check out exclusive party items and Star Traders. We might go over to Liberty Tree Tavern and get a s'mores cup. We're just kind of doing some other things while we're holding our place in line. As soon as we're done with Winnie the Pooh, we're going to hook on over to Adventureland and go see the Buccaneer Blast. And then by that point, I would think that I'm going to be getting hungry for something that's not sweet. So we're going to stop in Pecos Bill for my mobile order that I placed already. And we're just going to eat and walk. Like I said, time is money. We need to prioritize other things. So we're going to eat and walk. And we're going to try to get to a good spot in Frontierland where we can watch the parade at 8:15, catch the cadaver dance, and then as soon as the parade is over in that area, we're going to hook over to Diamond Horseshoe to that treat trail where the hitchhiking ghosts are. By that point, it's time for the dessert party because I did pre-book the dessert party. So we're going to go check in about 9 o'clock, be ready for the 9 o'clock show, the fireworks, and then be done with there about the fireworks should be over about 10:20-ish. We are going to stop in and just see the desserts, grab some desserts, have a good time. But by 11 o'clock, I want to be squarely in the Monsters, Inc. treat trail, hooking around to the Stitch show and then the Descend Dance show. Now, the only reason I'm going to the Descend Dance show is because it's in Cosmic Rays, and there were some foods that I really wanted there. So I'm going to grab my mobile order, enjoy my burger, my chicken, and my slushie while I see a little bit of the Descend Dance show. This is going to put us right at park close at 12, where the stage show happens to start again. And this time I'm going to be just a little bit closer to the stage so I can really see that Jack Skellington puppet. And then on the way out, most people have already left. So I'm going to get some nice. And then when that's over, everyone, for the most part, has left the park by that point. So I'm going to get some nice empty park photos on the way out. So that would be kind of my to-dos, what I would like to do. If at any point I needed to pivot, something wasn't working. Let's say we didn't actually make it to the parade on time. So then that section's kind of gone pivoting. I would definitely go hang out in Fantasyland and see a lot of those characters. So Donald and Daisy, over in Storybook Circus, maybe go see Mad Hatter. And then we have yet to meet Gaston, so I might go over there.
So the beginning of mine is a little bit similar to Kirsten's. At 2:30 p.m., I would, just like Kirsten, have a regular park ticket on top of my Mickey's Not So Scary ticket, and kind of try to beat all of the long lines and the crowds entering at 2:30. I would then at 2:45, because I'm in the park, I'm feeling snacky, would probably go get some popcorn.
You do like that popcorn
mix. I do. I'd ride a ride or two with the timing of this event starting soon, though. I'd probably register some lightning lanes.
Yep. Which you can do because you have a regular park ticket that day.
Correct. At 3:30, I'd hover around Jack and Sally's meetup area, knowing that people would be rushing in around 4, solely for the fact of kind of what we mentioned earlier. Sally does switch out here and there. Jack does too, from what I remember.
I don't think so. I mean, they may take a pause where they go do something for a minute and they just pause the line. But my understanding is that Jack is the guaranteed and Sally is the nice to have.
So anyways, if both of them are starting at the very beginning of their meetup, then try to knock that out. Try to be you can't guarantee that you're going to be first in line, but, try to try to get in line, use that advantage to get in line quicker than most of the people coming in for the 4 o'clock event. After that, I would try to knock out some more characters. I would go meet Mickey and Minnie. At 5, I'd go ride another ride or so, assuming the ride lines are a lot shorter than usual, but I'd go to somewhere closer to where the character meetups were for both Mickey and Minnie and Jack and Sally. Then I would get a semi early dinner at 5:45 p.m. at Casey's Corner, go get my hot dog.
It's a hot dog place.
Then I'd go I hate shopping, but I like souvenirs for events and stuff. So I'd shop either at Emporium on Main Street or I'd walk all the way over to Star Traders.
I love how you said you hate shopping. I feel like on our last trip, you got more souvenirs than I did.
At 7 p.m., I'd try to meet up with Mad Hatter and Alice, maybe Evil Queen if she's around. I'm sure people would be flocking to Evil Queen, so it's no guarantee. It's just a matter of, hey, if I by chance run into her, by all means. I don't even know if she can sign the autograph book, but I definitely try.
She should be able to. I mean, if Mickey can, she should.
7:45, I line up for the Stitch and Angel show. That looks like a lot of fun, and the kids like it, and, grew up on Stitch, so yeah, it looks fun. Then I'd go over to the Monsters, Inc. treat trail, go get some candy. Then at 9 p.m., I'd go to the Buccaneer Blast to see Jack Sparrow and Captain Barbossa, get some action shots of them, be really cool. Then I'd go, this is a little bit different and on the nose. I don't know why most people don't do it, because it's already technically a Halloween ride. Ride Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, that's a good one. I actually completely forgot to put this in there, so thanks for reminding me. They do have some cool lights around the mansion during the Halloween party. It's not like a special ride overlay, but the lights are really cool, so definitely something to look at.
Don't they have two characters talking in the main front graveyard? Two?
Maybe
like two of the
that's
ghosts?
ringing a bell of something that I remember reading, but I don't know if that was last year or this year, so I'm not 100% sure.
At 10 p.m., I'd go see the fireworks show. At 10:30-ish, 10:45, depending on how busy the crowds are, I'd go try to find Donald, Daisy, and Goofy, try to get their autographs and pictures with them. At 11, I would ride the spookified version of Space Mountain with the Halloween music playing. That might be a lot of fun. And then at 11:30 p.m., I would kind of settle down for the night, riding the People Mover, seeing the sights, seeing all the crowds and the different characters walking around and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like the People Mover idea.
At midnight, I try to work my way to the front of the crowd, either the left or the right side. Wouldn't try to push to the middle, but to where I could still see the stage for the big Jack Skellington puppet to come out to commemorate the event.
I like it. So as you can see, we didn't do everything. We didn't even get close to everything. And as a husband and wife, our itineraries were actually quite different. So that's kind of the point of this whole episode is you really have to prioritize what is most important to you and your family or travel party. You cannot do everything at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And this trick is to decide what matters most to you before you walk through the gate, because you kind of have to have a semi plan. I might not make a time by time like we did, or more just like what I call like a touring plan, like, okay, we're going to kind of work our way over here, but just having those baseline times of like the 10 o'clock show, things like that. But having a plan is key. Again, our itinerary is not going to work for everyone, and it's not going to be the right itinerary for everyone. That's why people who say that they have a basic itinerary that they pass out to all of their friends and family just isn't quite what's best for people. So let's talk about a few different versions of itineraries that people might like. First, you've got the character hunter. If characters are your number one priority, just forget about doing every attraction. And honestly, probably forget about doing a lot of these shows. You're going to pick your top 3 to 5 characters and build your entire night around them. you're going to pull in other activities that are near those characters. So, if you're waiting in line for Winnie the Pooh, then you might look for some food that's around there. If you're really wanting to prioritize Jack and Sally, maybe you're going to watch the parade right after you see them, but you're really working around those characters. Another big one that you're going to hear is the foodie, the person that is mostly there just to eat food. You're going to make a list of your must-eat items before arriving, and I actually recommend queuing up exactly where they are on a map because some people don't know exactly where each restaurant is, and that's helpful to know if you're looking at crossing the park 7 times for food. You want to group them geographically so you're not crossing the park constantly, and then work in some other fun items to check out while you're eating. I also recommend to my foodies out there to mobile order. Save your time by mobile ordering.
The next kind of itinerary priority type is the family night. Sit down together, pick your must priority and nice list. Work a route of the park based on everyone's list. You can actually find little pamphlets at the entries of each of the parks, and they have maps on them. So
they do, but I would probably try to have a plan with a map before, and then just use your map while at the party as a reference.
Agreed. After that, you have the ride fan. Definitely, if you're prioritizing rides, use the early park time to ride as many low crowd rides. Hit the longer lines, that's Tron, Mine Train, etc. I don't mean to shoot any flack at Tron, but it is only 49 seconds. So make sure to prioritize the rides while the party is going on when the crowds are lower.
Yeah. So, definitely looking at your small worlds, your teacups, things like that during early park time, and then those longer heavy hitters that are going to have longer lights, do those during the party.
For the first timers, if this is your first time at Mickey's Not So Scary or at the park, don't try to do everything. You're gonna end up just disappointing yourself and others if you try to cram everything in. Pick one parade, one fireworks show, 1 or 2 characters, one, special food item, trick-or-treating here and there. Pick one of the zones that they're going to have for trick-or-treating.
Yeah. Just go into it knowing you're probably not going to see and do everything, and that's okay because you can always come back. A good thing about these Disney parties is that they don't change drastically very often. So you can always come back and do whatever you didn't do the first time.
Our last and final segment is the big question. Is it worth it?
So we're just going to do some rapid fire here. So here we go.
So if you love Halloween, if you're a Halloween connoisseur, you're also a Disney connoisseur, I would say it's definitely worth it, especially if you're trying to meet up with characters.
Yes. If you're wanting to ride a lot of rides with low weights and don't want to use lightning lanes on a regular park day, I would say yes. If it's your first time to Magic Kingdom, my answer might be no. Now, I know that there are people who it's their first trip ever, and they do go to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. So I just kind of want to say here, as their travel advisor, I usually either let them know, let's do this on your last day when you've already been to Magic Kingdom and you know the layout a little bit. But if it's your first time to ever step foot in Magic Kingdom, my answer is probably no. This party is probably not a good choice for you.
On top of that, if it's your first time to Disney World in general, that's any of the parks, it's always going to be a guessing game on transportation options. It's always going to be a guess on where to actually go for things, even if you have a map. It is kind of hard to follow in some cases, even from the app.
Yeah. And I think also if you're thinking in terms of your first trip ever to Disney World, you're probably also going on some heavy hitting park days. And you're also, whether you think you are or not, probably trying to cram too much into your park days because it's your first time and you want to do this and you want to do that. And so then to add in a very long park day where you're there until midnight or 1 a.m. I mean, if you really think about it, if you stay there until midnight, you're probably not getting back to your hotel until 1, maybe even 2 in the morning. So, and then it's your first trip, so you're trying to maximize your time, and you're waking up at 6:30 to rope drop the next morning. That's a lot. So,
Right.
again, these parties will be there. So I agree. I think if it's your first trip to Disney World, my suggestion would be no. And that is your crash course in Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party planning and prioritizing. It's all about having a game plan so you can spend less time looking at your app and more time enjoying the magic. Remember that we're here to help you navigate every reservation and every ticket drop. If you want a stress-free Halloween trip, please email me at, let me try again, at kirsten.russell@portsandpalaces.vacations for free concierge planning services.
If you learned something new or just really like some of the input that we had, please share this episode with a friend who might be going or with your family. Make sure to subscribe or follow depending on where you're listening from. Leave us a 5-star review, please. That really helps with our analytics and making sure we're making content that you enjoy.
And also just reaching the right people. As you leave 5-star reviews or comments, it kind of tells the algorithm, oh, these are the kind of people that want to see that content, and it pushes it to people like that instead of pushing it to someone that prefers Royal Caribbean, which we do too, but prefers international travel.
It
or
tunes our demographics.
Yes. And also, again, we don't just like to sit here and talk to ourselves. We literally like to get to know our listeners. So give us a comment. Let us know your favorite Halloween costume or your favorite costume you've ever worn to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. We'd love to get some ideas for our next trip.
Until next time, I'm Chad.
And I'm Kirsten. Happy travels from all your ports to palaces.
This podcast is sponsored by Ports and Palaces Vacations. Whether you are wanting to check out a new port along a cruise line or see the palaces of Disney and Universal, our travel advisors make your dream trip a reality. Your next trip is just a click away.